Go. Oh man.
Go.
Yes. Yes, now we're alive. Guys, what's happening? We haven't the last time I checked, this is the first time for my channel where I've done a live movie review.
Oh,
First timer.
first time for everything.
Yep,
How
although
about that?
specifically it has been ages, and I mean ages since I have done a collaborative review with anybody. It's been ages. I can't remember the last
And
time I
who
even did
better
that. Yeah,
to
who
do
better?
that first
Yes.
than me?
Yes. My bro Montana over here.
How
So
you doing?
so we've only got one viewer at the time, but that's okay because this is kind of something I should have made the thumbnail much earlier, but I didn't know what time I was going to get home because, as you know, when it comes to watching movies in the theater, trailers last 30 minutes.
Well, the thing with my screening or my showing of those, they did not show any trailers
Yeah,
whatsoever.
it's an absolute rarity. It's a rarity when you
Any.
see any trailers.
They
I
didn't
think-
show any. The only thing that they did was because I saw it on Tuesday during the fan access.
Yeah, that's right. Because you were seeing
Part.
that, and I saw the black phone that night.
You saw the black phone, which
is so
I hear
fucking
was good. You're going to see it again.
I'm planning on seeing with Sarah on Sunday, actually.
So the whole fan aspect thing, you got this cool poster.
Nice.
Got this cool poster, and then they showed like footage of Austin Butler singing "That's All Right."
Yeah. Oh my God. We'll talk about Austin Butler
And
soon. Don't worry about that.
Priscilla and Lisa Marie giving their blessing.
Yeah, I mean
To
that's
bots.
that's the thing I was really worried about. I was like, okay, how are they gonna feel about it? But yes, you're correct. Sorry, my last club was the hostel with Romy. When no joke, after I came back home, and I was like, I gotta talk about this right now. And I was like, damn, you want to do it? And it's like, yep. And we recorded at least 30 minutes of us just talking shit about the hostel the entire time.
Oh man.
So guys, in case if you haven't seen the thumbnail or if you're just joining in. Well, I forgot to switch the background, but fuck it. Doesn't really matter at this point. We're doing it live. So we're talking about Elvis, the latest biopic based on a musician or a group. The last couple that we got in the past couple of years were things like Rocket Man. We got Bohemian Rhapsody, then
Straight Outta Compton,
which love Straight Outta Compton. That film rocks.
And then if you want to talk about the last decade, we got Ray.
Walk the Line, which is so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And hey to everybody joining the chat. Hello to Tavia. Hello. Oh, hello, see Muscles.
Luke Ass.
Yes. Hello, Hector. Hello, Billy. So no joke, guys. I just got back from the theater. Alex saw this on Tuesday. I was originally
so this is fresh in your mind.
This is very, very fresh because I usually wait a little bit. I usually do review the day afterwards because I did Black Phone the day afterwards because I wanted to digest. But I was like, you know what? I feel confident enough to get my thoughts on this now. But this is the latest thing based on, honest to God, Alex, Elvis is your favorite musician besides the Beatles, isn't he?
He is the king of rock and roll for a reason.
He is. I mean, hell, you got the T-shirt you have on is Elvis.
I mean, come on, from Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, man,
greatest arena in the world.
And also,
he got on one.
Alex, where were you born, by the way, Alex? Fun fact:
I was born in Tennessee,
and that is where Elvis was born, Tennessee.
He was born in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Oh, I thought he was born in Tennessee.
He was born in Mississippi, but he moved to Tennessee when he was.
You are correct. See, and here's the thing, guys.
See, I'm a historian.
See, and also I want to lay the facts and the record straight. Okay, here we go. This is gonna piss off Gary. No one knows music better than Mr. Gabbard does. However, I don't know a bigger Elvis fan than Alex. And that's the reason why, because I was originally going to do this as a solo review with the original jump cuts where we talking a million miles an hour. However, Alex said, we should do this together. And I was like, you know, let's make it a live review. Fucking let's do it. So,
yes.
But I'm going to say is this. So this is the based on the story of Elvis's life going to, I mean, it's spanning decades. I mean, it's going from his childhood, which we do see snippets of, to his untimely death, but it's basically, it tells a story not just of Elvis's career, but the relationship between him and Colonel Parker, portrayed by Tom Hanks, and
Colonel
their
Tom
relationship
Parker.
together. Yeah, and all I'm gonna say is this, Alex.
Yes.
I dug the crap out of this movie. I dug it
too.
Yeah, I dug
did
it
too.
I didn't absolutely love it, which we'll get into our issues later on with this thing, but I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I mean, I'm a big Elvis fan, not as big as you are. I mean, you're the biggest
clearly.
Elvis fan I know.
Hello.
Well, yeah, you have the fucking t-shirt on, for God's sakes. But I know a lot about Elvis's life. I mean, Alex taught me a lot. I've seen documentaries about Elvis. There is the one I remember the most was where it actually showed footage of him popping pills in the last years of his life. You remember that one?
Yes, that was the concert movie, not concert movie, but the biographical.
Yeah,
this is Elvis.
That's the one I remember the most. And by the way, if you haven't seen that one, guys, we highly recommend it. It's a terrific documentary.
I think that one came out just after his death.
Really?
Just after his death.
Oh, okay.
This came out in 1981.
Oh, holy shit. Yeah, because he died 77, right?
77, yep.
77, yeah. I showed this because it literally showed the year of his death. I mean, hey, there's a lot of things. I'm not a numbers guy, okay? But getting right off the bat, how great is Austin Butler in this?
Oh, Austin Butler. Austin. I'm telling you, Austin.
Dude.
I thought I was looking at him. I thought legit it was Elvis.
There are legitimately times where there are certain shots to where, also, I'll add on to this in a little bit, but there were times where he looked so spot on. It was uncanny how great he looked.
Especially in the background there, where he's in the 1968 comeback special. That scene, we'll get to that in a bit.
Although I will say, I actually think that may have been my favorite part of the entire film. I think it may have been. But no, Austin Butler absolutely kills it. Now, here's the thing. We still have about 6 months left to go in the year. And I know it's too early to say Oscar stuff. But please, for the love of God, Academy, consider Austin Butler for Best Lead Actor. Yeah. I mean, not only does he almost at times look exactly like Elvis Presley, but he actually does his own singing too.
He does.
I mean, it's not completely him. Like, for example, like Taron Egerton did all of his own singing for Rocket Man, per se. But the way how they combined his voice with Elvis Presley's voice, I mean, there are times where I could not tell the difference genuinely.
True.
I mean, the sound mixing was brilliant in this movie.
And, it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's a Boz movie.
Oh, I mean, which speaking of which, here's the thing. Baz Luhrmann, I think, is a very hit or miss director. Very hit or miss.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of Great Gatsby. Not a fan of it. Although there's many people out there that love it, including our buddies, Jerome and Gary. I thought it was a mixed bag.
It was passable.
Yes. There were things I enjoyed the crap out of Great Gatsby. And there are a lot of things I just went, why did they do this? One example. So, Alex, I know I should save the issues for later on, but I know one of your biggest issues with
you know what I'm about to talk about.
I want you to talk about it right now.
There's one scene in particular in this film, and it's in most of his films.
Yeah.
His use of rap music. Why? In the most random places.
Yeah.
In the most random places. Like, at the credits, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Okay? But during the film, when they're actually, like, trying to establish his character.
Yeah.
Establish, like, why just throw in a bunch of rap music? When they're talking about rap when they're talking about rock and blues and R&B and all that stuff.
Now, here is probably the first time I'll disagree. Here, I actually didn't mind it this time around. I did not mind. I mean, there's a specific scene in this film
Okay.
where, of course, I won't give it away, but it's where Parker's trying to say, "Hey, if you do this, it's gonna be okay again." And when he's about to go speak to a specific person, he puts that in there. And this is one of the times I was like, you know what? Okay, I didn't like how it did it in Great Gatsby because it just didn't make a lot of particular sense for that film. But for some reason, it actually didn't. I actually didn't mind it so much in this one this
Wow.
time around. I don't know
Interesting.
why. Yeah, I was just thinking like, you know what? This actually kind of fits because I mean, I think it made sense story wise. Though of course I wasn't there at the time being, so I don't know what Elvis was thinking.
Right.
But I
None of
think
us did.
no, of course not. I mean, but I think for story-based reasons, I think it worked. I think it actually does work for story-based reasons. But otherwise, I've been like, why the fuck are they doing this? But no, I think honestly, this is one of the few times where I think Baz Luhrmann's style worked for this movie.
Yeah,
I think it actually did for the most part. I mean, don't get me wrong, like we just said,
I agree.
he's very hit or miss. I mean, there's a lot of times where I think he's a bit too much into it. Like Great Gatsby, I saw what he was trying to do, but I think he went a little too much to the point where it was a little too loud for the sake of being loud.
Mhm.
But here, I thought it worked. Because if you look at Elvis, I mean, here's the thing again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Elvis, I mean, the guy is one. I mean, to this day, you feel the influence not only on
He's
music,
the number one
yeah,
selling recording artist of all time.
and not just music, but you still feel his influence on pop culture in general. You still
Mhm.
feel it to this day, and it's been oh my god, it's been decades, many decades since Elvis put out his first song, and yet you
Mhm.
still feel his style,
Oh
the
yeah.
way how he moves when he's doing everything. And the way how Baz Luhrmann moves the camera and everything, I thought it worked. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times when his style, I think, because the film moves at such a frantic pace.
Yeah.
And because here's the thing, the movie is it's a little over 2.5 hours.
That's what I was about to ask you, Austin.
Yeah.
Does it feel like did it feel rushed?
There were times I definitely think it felt rushed.
Did it
Definitely.
feel rushed? Did it feel like it was long for you?
Here and there, yeah, here and there. But I mean, I was entertained and engaged for the most part, but this goes into one of my other big issues with this movie.
Okay.
It was the history of it. It was all the history stuff.
Okay.
Now, of course,
okay, here we go.
Now, of course, for those of you who aren't big Elvis historians like my brother here,
Oh man.
this is what I can say right here. Now, of course, like I mentioned, he's taught me a lot about Elvis. I mean, a lot, like his music career, his love life, where he lived. And there is a specific point in this movie where it does introduce Priscilla Presley. And I actually, the moment I saw there was a shot that plays out where Parker is like, oh, love it. I just went, Priscilla Presley's right there. And I was waiting for more because if you guys know his love history, there was so much that went on.
Man.
I mean, so much.
Yep.
They maybe told a little bit of it, just a little bit.
Just a little taste.
Just a little taste.
Just a little taste because they don't need to know like every little detail.
Oh no, not every little thing, but I mean now I completely get that this is more of a story about not just the rise and fall of his career, but it's mainly about the relationship between Elvis and Colonel Parker.
Colonel Parker.
That.
All right.
Yeah.
So Colonel Parker.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was a carny piece of shit.
That's what I saw in the movie.
He took advantage. He took advantage of Elvis right from the start. And the scene at the end with the contract. I don't.
Oh
no spoil-
man!
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that guy was only working for himself.
Hey, you know what the funny
only
thing
in it
is?
for
Here's
himself.
the thing. props to Tom Hanks for pulling that role off. I mean, because
yeah.
Tom Hanks is usually known for playing these sweethearts, a comedian, just the good guy in films, the good guy.
Yeah.
I had never wanted to punch him in the teeth so bad. I mean, there were parts where I was like, Woody, what are you doing?
But
oh my god,
Josh Baskins, what are you doing?
Oh god,
Forrest Gump, no.
Oh, I mean, man, there were times I was like, man, good job, Tom Hanks, for playing such a piece of shit in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were times where, of course, con man, he's a guy that he knew how to talk to Elvis in just the right way, because he knew Elvis came from, basically not from like rags, but he was not.
Well, kind of, yeah, he did.
Kind of, sort of rags, but he knew exactly how to go into his brain. I was like, oh, I know how to get you out of this position. I know what to do for you. We can do this together. And Elvis is like, yeah, of course, he wanted to entertain people, but he wanted to help out his family, of course.
Absolutely.
But
he wants to buy his mom a pink Cadillac.
Yes, he did.
Cadillac.
Which, I'm not gonna lie, that scene was actually pretty sweet. Tom Hanks was great as Tom Parker, and also even though we don't get a live for Olivia DeHange as Priscilla Presley, I thought she did good. I thought she did very good. Yeah, she did very good. And and every time I went into the concert stuff, that stuff was brilliantly done.
Yes.
That is where I think that Baz Luhrmann's direction hit to the T every damn time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time. I don't want to say too much because I know you have a lot to say on your end.
The opening was kind of weird.
It was, wasn't it?
It was kind of weird. I mean, he's like in a hospital, and then he's in like a casino.
Yeah.
With the drip bag hanging from him. It's like, where's this going?
I mean,
this like? What?
I mean, I think I got why they did, because then again, since it is the story of Elvis and Elvis' relationship, but I thought that was something that was actually really unique, how they told the film really from his perspective more than anything else. Because I wasn't expecting that, because I thought it was just gonna be the straightforward him and him seeing how they're gonna clash. Although I won't spoil it. That scene where he just goes off on him, I was like, I almost wanted to clap in the theater. I almost wanted to clap.
That concert scene in the 70s, right?
That was such a great scene. Oh my god.
Interesting factoid.
Yeah.
That never happened.
Really?
That never happened on stage.
Really?
Because if it did, I guarantee you, if that happened on stage, the whole world would be talking about it.
Wow. See, this is why
that was made for a movie.
This is why he is here. Like I said,
that happened backstage. That did not happen on stage.
That makes more sense.
Because if it happened on stage, everyone would be talking about it.
And all right, so I will answer this. Do I think that his performance can? I hope it does. I hope he gets a nomination, because Austin Butler. Terry Richardson should have been nominated as Elton John, but for Rocket Man, but they didn't, because it came out in the summertime, I'm guessing, and of course, no one pays attention to the summertime.
Nobody.
I'm hoping that same fate doesn't fall over Austin Butler. Seriously, there are so many times where and also I do want to talk about the
sound mixing.
Well, not just the sound mixing, but going back to Baz Luhrmann's direction and how they spliced the archival footage of Elvis with Austin Butler's performance. I was just going like, this is great. In particular, if you've seen the trailer, guys, where he just goes like this with his pinky, showing those back shots and all the cameras from the time splicing out together. I was just thinking, like, if they actually shot that and not just somehow getting the archival footage, I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference. I wouldn't have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And also,
I agree.
But before you talk about the sound mixing, I do want to say the ending was great. It was a great ending. It actually was.
Yes.
Even though it's a very sad ending, because we all know what happens to Elvis. We all know. Especially if you research his life.
and how it played together. Especially how it played together.
I mean, I don't know what it was. I will say this much. I kind of wished they showed more of that part of his life.
What, like towards the end?
Yeah, where it showed him. I mean, they do show snippets of it.
But that concert.
But here's the thing, though. I will say this much in terms of the history of Elvis. For those of you who don't know this, when it comes to his love life, okay. Here's the thing. So, in case you guys didn't know this, the whole thing where Elvis met Priscilla at a young age, that was right. That's actually correct.
Yes, it is.
In
Germany.
Here's the thing.
While he was in the army.
Yeah, while he was in the army. But here's the thing that the movie actually messed up on. There's one big error that the movie did mess up on.
Oh.
He was seeing somebody else at the time before he divorced Priscilla.
That is true.
Almost did. And was it there's a whole scene to which I won't give it away.
That's true.
And they do go into the fact, because if you guys know about Elvis' history, you'll know that near the end of his life, he popped pills like they were candy. Like at the, there's only a shot in the documentary that we were talking about where he was playing on a piano, pop pills like they were Skittles.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And they do show snippets of that. I was just hoping that they would show more, but again, since a lot of his family is alive, Priscilla's alive, Lisa Marie's is alive still. Riley Keough, who's his granddaughter, still alive as well. They're all still alive, so I can imagine.
Kind of had to respect the family.
Yeah, they probably had some sort of input, but it's like if Rocket Man was able to show it, because Rocket Man goes to they showed a lot of stuff in Rocket Man. They showed him literally dying, right? If I remember, like they showed him having like a drug overdose. No, like they actually went through the ringer, where I kind of wish they showed more, but then again, the movie is already 2.5 hours long as it is.
Yes, it is.
But yes.
So the music, the music aspect of this, it's all of Elvis's great music.
Yeah.
Starting from his first song, That's All Right, Mama, all the way going through his movie career, where he was in Hollywood.
Yep.
And then my favorite scene of the film is right behind you. In close is the '68 comeback special.
That was such a
scene was amazing.
That scene, I was engaged, and right when they were going like, okay, you gotta do this, you have to do this, and also if you didn't notice, from Dacre Montgomery, who was in Stranger Things, he actually plays the guy who was in the control room.
Yes, he is.
He is, and
he is.
Right when because. Also,
whole bait and switch because Elvis is the king.
And
that was amazing.
And something I do want to mention also really quick is this. Before we're all over the place, but that's how I am usually in my own videos. But yeah, it is live. Yeah, we're doing it live. Okay. There is one thing I loved what they did in this movie, not just telling the story of Elvis and his relationship with Colonel Parker, but also the exploration of how American culture changed throughout time. Because here's the thing, for those of you who don't know this, Elvis was very controversial back in the day. Very, like, literally, they hated the fact that he moved his pelvis so much. They hated it to the point where they're like, "You're gonna."
They were banning his records. They threw kids out of school,
all because he just wanted to go like this. All because of that.
Listen to his music.
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of like, it's kind of, remember how in Shroud of Compton, how everyone didn't want them to perform because if the NWA did perform, you can imagine what happened.
The youth of this country is going to hell.
It's the devil's music.
It's the devil's music. What happened?
Oh, okay. What the heck just happened right there?
What happened?
I have no idea, but it looks like we were low. I'm not even running on Wi-Fi right now. That was
What?
Very odd. I don't know what the heck just happened. Sorry about
Heck?
that, guys. That was
Different.
well, well, that was
Different.
interesting. So before I saw that, what were we oh yeah, so Baz Luhrmann did really hit the nail when he was going through exploration of culture, of how Elvis changed things, of how they didn't want him to perform simply because, let's just say, he was very sexually provocative.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't know it, but like everyone was going, no, keep doing that because I mean, obviously, look at the laser reacting.
Yeah,
Look
keep
at that.
doing that because that's what makes you you. That's what sets you apart from everybody else.
Which by the way, I loved that scene.
Mm-hmm.
That scene where he goes back to speak to that very prominent guy and is going like, you know what? Nah, you gotta do you, man.
That's right.
You gotta do you. And here's the thing: you're making way too much money for them to do this. And he was just going like, and I was like, yeah, he is right on that one. But no, sound. Go ahead. Sorry.
So, anyways, the sound mixing in this film is absolutely great because you can feel it. You can feel, especially in Dolby.
Oh my!
In the Dolby theater,
man, that theater sound was so good.
Oh man,
dude. I mean, there were times where
like it vibrates.
Well, yeah. There were. Especially during his first performance, and especially when you're doing the well, and I just went, that kid's got something. Like, oh my god, yeah, it was. And now I want to go back on to another issue really quick that I have with the movie besides the history. I feel like now, of course, the movie spans over like what, 20, 30 years, something like that.
Let's see, from about 42 years.
Yeah, about 42 years.
42 years, because that's how old when he passed away.
42 years. Here's the thing, guys. 2.5 hours and 42 years. That's a lot of story to tell.
I think they did pretty good.
They did good.
Pretty good job.
They did good, but at the same time, I do think that at times, it did go a little too fast. Because here's the thing again.
Yeah.
The film has such a breakneck pace to it, and you're going through a lot at once. You're going through where he meets with Tom Hanks. He meets where he gets to Grayson for the first time, where he meets Priscilla.
Recording all the music.
The music as well of when he got he didn't get arrested, which yeah, that's right. He was just taken to the police because they didn't want him to get hurt, I guess.
Oh, that concert scene. Oh my gosh. At the baseball field?
That was a brilliant scene. Great scene. And of course there were times where I felt like, that 2.5 hours, I will not lie. For the most part, I actually do think, oh God. Look who's in the chat.
I see balls. Oh, Jerome. Wait, what was that?
Sorry, Gary, but even though I know you love music, I think Alex is the bigger Elvis fan. I'm just saying. He is going to kill me after this. But no, I think the film is very, very good. I think it's very, very well done. Performances wise, they're all terrific. I think Austin Butler should be in the running for an Oscar nomination. I know it's still 6 months down the line. I think Tom Hanks should definitely get a nomination for something. I have never seen him play a character, whether it's real life or fictional, that has been this much of a shithead. I'm just gonna get your ass at this point. Oh, I know you will. And I think Baz Luhrmann's direction, honest to God, we were talking earlier that Baz Luhrmann's a very hit or miss director.
Very hit or miss.
Honestly, I couldn't see anybody else making this film but him. I really can't.
Okay.
Honestly, if you could decide, who else do you think would have made probably the better Elvis movie than Baz Luhrmann? Because I actually don't know.
If given the right script and cast, maybe Scorsese?
Maybe, but even then, I don't know, in all honesty, because here's the thing again, when it came to telling a story, there are a lot of things that they don't even bother to tell. There's a lot of things that not only did they skimp over or skim over, I should say, but there's a lot of things that they don't tell. But again, I guarantee it's because a lot of the family is still alive and they want to be respectful, kind of like how Straight Outta Compton, where they don't even tell over certain things, especially with Dr. Dre.
Right.
But at the same time, though, I thought what they did here and how Baz Luhrmann approached his style, and there are some parts I feel like it got a little bit too much per se,
just a tad
much. And for a 2.5-hour movie, I was entertained for the most part. I really was. I mean, there were things that I wish that they were shown more of, and things that I wish that it didn't go so breakneck pacing for. But as an overall film that I enjoy watching it, absolutely, yes. I did. Would I own this movie? Yes, I would. I think it's a movie that you should definitely see in the theater. I absolutely agree. Alex, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
What would you give this?
Well, there are a couple of inaccuracies with this film.
Oh, God, there's more than a few inaccuracies.
There are a few inaccuracies with this film. But with the acting, with the music, with everything all rolled up into one, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5.
Alex, I'm pushing 4. I completely agree. There's definitely a few inaccuracies, things that bothered me watching it. There were times I was like, hold on a second. Wait, that doesn't fit that. No, that didn't happen. That did not happen. I was like, specifically with Vegas and Priscilla, that whole section I was just going like, that did not happen. Come on, that did not happen. But Baz Luhrmann's direction, I want to say for the most part, definitely paid off in spades. Austin Butler absolutely killed it. Almost an uncanny performance as Elvis Presley. Tom Hanks, absolutely amazing. The music, the sound mixing.
Killed it as Colonel Tom Parker.
Brilliant cinematography, too. I mean, it's a really well-shot film, and how he shoots performances, how he splices together the archival footage of Elvis and Austin Butler. There were times where I would have bought it if that was actually him back in those days. But yeah, for me as well, I give it a 4 out of 5 as well. I think it's a very well done music biopic. I don't think it's, I mean, who knows? Over time, it could climb up. It could. But I would say in the past 5 to 10 years, this definitely is up there. I would say this as well. If you're a hardcore Elvis fan, there's a lot of things that will bother you. A lot of things.
There are a lot of fans online that are Elvis fans that are not particularly a fan of this film.
Oh no, because I mean, I can even say for myself, or as a person that, I mean, I'm not as big of a fan as you are. Not nearly. I mean, Elvis is one of my favorite musicians of all time. I mean, you got me to Elvis in the first place.
You're welcome.
I mean, thank you. No, just in general, this man is the reason why I got into rock and roll in the first place.
If it wasn't for me, you'd probably still be into trap music.
No, I would have probably gotten out at some point. But no, if it wasn't for me, I wouldn't have gone into the Beatles or Elvis, and that got me into...
Or Metallica.
That got me into my band of all time, or a musician I'm wearing right now, Rob Zombie, but still. But no, I overall enjoyed the show of this movie. There are issues, do not get me wrong, but as an Elvis biopic, I think it does the job really, really well. I think it does the job very well. I would highly recommend it. Don't watch this at home. Gary, you know I'm talking about you.
Go see it in the theaters.
Yes, go see this in the theaters. Go see this. The Bee Gees is all me. You know what, Gary? I'll agree with you on that. The Bee Gees is all you.
What if they make a Bee Gees movie?
I think it's coming out later this year or sometime next year. I think it is. I can't wait to see how Bradley Cooper does in that movie. I'm looking for, and I know Kenneth Branagh's making it.
Highlight Hector's comment.
Wait. Oh, this one?
Yes, because it is the truth. Because when I left the theater, I think the message of this movie I felt, and the what the film was trying to accomplish, I think that was doing a great job of doing, and that was to introduce Elvis to this new generation.
And you know what? Speaking of which,
and you know what? They did it perfection. They did it to perfection because when I left the theater, there were kids about 9, 10, or 10 or 9 that were singing "If I Can Dream."
That's awesome. That's awesome. And
mission accomplished.
Now, really quick before we end this thing, because we've talked a good amount about this thing, this movie brings the exact same point that I felt watching that movie yesterday that came out in 2019. Where the guy sings the Beatles music, claiming his stuff as of his own. This movie
yesterday?
Yep, that movie. I think this movie brings back that same point that yesterday brought up, and I told you this and you agreed. Yesterday, for me, made the point that if the Beatles were alive today, and if they were just starting out, Beatles maybe would still exist. Still would. I think it still would. If Elvis were alive today, and if he was still performing today, people would still be going. I mean, they still are going batshit crazy over Elvis Presley, but I would say even more so.
Oh yeah,
even more so. I mean, because here it just.
No
more than anything, I mean, not only is this movie a great cautionary tale about how managers will abuse the talent, but at the same time, this movie leaves a great message behind going like this. A great artist will live on throughout
forever.
Forever.
And ever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah, whether it's all the Beatles, even though there are 2 Beatles still alive, which Ringo Starr, that man still looks great to this day. Or Elvis Presley, which, by the way, for everyone wondering, Priscilla Presley is still alive. Lisa Marie, I think, is actually involved in NASCAR. I think.
Yeah,
she is involved in NASCAR.
She like a part team owner.
Yeah, she is. And Riley Keough, who is Elvis's granddaughter, is an actress. She was in Mad Max Fury Road, and she is in the film industry. So yeah, they are alive, and according to them, they actually loved it.
Well, they gave the man they gave Boz their blessing.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't give it to anybody else.
Yeah, apparently Riley Keough, within the first 5 minutes, was emotional throughout the entire film. But then again, when you're watching your family live, especially of your grandfather on screen, I mean, how else would you react like that? But otherwise, film was very, very good. I'd highly recommend it. See it in the theater.
See it in the theater. Pay your money.
Yes.
Pay and go see it.
Yes, pay to go see it. But guys, thank you all so much for joining my first ever live review. Who knows? I may do this again in the coming months. Who knows? I have no idea, depending on the movie itself. But Alex is the one that brought he's the one who wanted to do the review with me, and I was like, you know what, let's do it. And thank you so much, sir, for joining me on this live review of Elvis. Like I said, both of us give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, of course. And till next time, guys, look out for a couple of videos coming very, very soon. I should have a video of the Obi-Wan series coming out soon.
Can I join you for that one too?
That I might do myself, actually. And also, look out for my top 5 most controversial film thoughts. I've already told a couple of people this, and they're like, you're going to get fucking killed. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more reviews to come. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. And Elvis forever.
Elvis has left the building. And so have we, because we're out of here.
Peace out, Mother F. Sorry, Christian Harloff, but later, guys. Yes, end broadcast.